right, we're tracking a dangerous situation across parts of central Wisconsin right now. A confirmed tornado on the ground entering parts of Adams County, northern Adams counties right now. There it is right there. So it's going to move this way into Adams County, but that's not the only one. There is now a warning for Wood County as well, and back to the south for Juneau County. So we have a lot going on. Each of these supercells here beginning to spin in the atmosphere, thus creating what we have out there, a tornado outbreak across parts of central Wisconsin right now. The main event, though, currently is this storm right there. This is the velocity mode of the radar, which basically looks at, hey, which direction is the air moving within the storm, right? Whenever you get this, we call it a couplet. When the reds meet the greens, that means the air is circulating. Right? That could be a tornado in the atmosphere, or it could be a tornado on the ground. In this case, this one is confirmed on the ground. They're calling it a particularly dangerous situation now, moving into parts of northern Adams County. But look what's around it as well. You have a spin in the atmosphere right here, a spin in the atmosphere right there. These are just getting going as we are talking about them outside currently. So here is the one that we're really most worried about currently. It's moving into northern parts of Adams County. Yeah, so here it is, Wayville, Cutler is right there. You see the spin, right? So the air, red is moving away, green moving toward. The radar site's actually over here across parts of the Green Bay area. So this is definitely a spin in the atmosphere. Reaching the ground, it's confirmed now. This one has some debris on it, visible via radar just shortly time ago. So cities in the path of the system include the Cutler area, of course, and then downstream from there, Dakota. This one, it means business. It does not look like it's going to fall apart anytime soon as it moves deeper and deeper into parts of Adams County. And then beyond that is a pretty populated area of Portage County. So what do you do then? Well, you take your severe weather precautions and your tornado precaution. That includes finding the lowest level of your home, find a place in your basement if you can, gather your friends, gather your pets, find someplace safe. If you can, also put a bike helmet on the kids and keep them safe as well. And put anything, your goal is to put anything between you and the outside walls as you can that will protect you from the wind. So downstream from here, we have Wisconsin Rapids right there. And of course, going deeper into Portage County, that's Plover. Over here is the Amherst area, and of course, Stevens Point. So this thing is right there, moving this way toward the Portage County area. It's going to clip northern parts of Adams County and then move into Portage County. It shows no signs of weakening, right? So that means it'll take it deeper into Portage County, a very populated area of Portage County, likely just south of Wisconsin Rapids and toward the Amherst and also the Plover areas. So downstream from there, if you're reading or you're watching me now is the time to get ready for this. You have plenty of time to get ready. That is, find the lowest level of your home. Also put as many walls between you and the outside world as you can to protect you from flying debris. All right, so here is something that you don't use very often. It's called the correlation coefficient. What this is, it's a product that looks at what doesn't belong in this picture, right? Well, your eye goes right there. So right, you have all this red, and then you have that. That is what we call a tornado debris signature. This does not happen very often in parts of Wisconsin. This is the radar confirming that this tornado is lifting things into the atmosphere. We can measure how high they are. They're about 9,000 to 10,000 feet into the atmosphere, and the radar can see that in the storm. So that is exactly where the tornado is right now. It's right there, moving this way, northeast at about 45 miles per hour. It's picking up just a little bit of speed as we're talking about it, but overall, this thing is moving to the northeast about 35 to 40 miles per hour. Here's the big picture again, and they are not alone, right? So this is a line, a squall line of severe thunderstorms across all of north central Wisconsin. In here, the worst of it by far is across portions of the Portage County area, also into Adams County, also into Taylor County. This is where the atmosphere is the most conducive to tornadic development, and that's happening as we're talking about it right now. So here we are. Big picture land, all of us, or at least most of us, under a tornado watch, right? And in here to the west, across portions of, Adams County here, back to over to Clark County as well, there are tornado warnings in there because the radar is now seeing tornadoes in the atmosphere forming. We have confirmation that they are on the ground. And there's one moving into parts of northern Adams County, this one right here, that's confirmed. So here's the radar seeing exactly where that tornado is, moving into portions of Portage County. And that's going to leave it just south, basically, of the Wisconsin Rapids area as it moves into portions of Portage County. All right, so here's the big deal. We don't do this very often, and here we go tonight. We've been talking about it for several days. By far the worst weather is across portions of central Wisconsin, but all of us are under the gun right now for the potential for some severe weather. Now that includes Vilas County, Oneida County, Lincoln County, but right now our attention turns here. You see it, right? There's 3 boxes right there. Those are
higher just a
moving into parts of our viewing area, included Portage County, into Adams County, and Wood County at that. Okay, let's go in here closer again. Here's Portage County, here's Wood County. Lots of lightning in here. And what's that a sign of? Well, lightning, you know that, right? In storms, is a sign that there's updrafts, right? There's air rushing into the storm. It's bumping into things in the storm. It creates static electricity, and thus you get lightning, right? That's happening out there now, but notice how there's more and more lightning as we go in time here, because these storms are out there intensifying as we are talking about them. So this event is just getting going as it enters really our viewing area from Portage County. Marathon County is right there. Lincoln County, of course, is right up here. Wood County there, and then Adams County here. The one we're most worried about is the one moving into northern parts of Adams County, north of the Adams Friendship area. That one has a tornado debris signature on it that we can see via radar, which means it's picking up debris. It's looking at things in the atmosphere and saying, hey, that stuff shouldn't be there. Tree limbs, maybe parts of houses, lawn furniture is being lofted up into the atmosphere, and it's really causing a problem there. All right, let's look at the big picture once again. So here is that storm moving very quickly to the northeast, about 45 miles per hour, taking it deeper and deeper into the Portage County area. So here's Wisconsin Rapids right there. It'll likely go just south of the Wisconsin Rapids area, but also just to the east of there are some very populated areas. We're talking about Plover, we're talking about Stevens Point, we're talking about Amherst, we're talking about all these towns downstream that could be really kind of impacted by this tornado that is on the ground, observed, doing damage. We can tell that via Doppler radar. All right, so here's the big picture once again. Here is where our velocity mode is. You can see wherever there is a spin in the atmosphere, where the greens meet the reds, that's a spin, right? The radar kind of beam goes around like this. It looks at the atmosphere and it says, hey, what's spinning? Red is toward the radar, green is away. When you get that couplet just like that, that is a tornado signature on a velocity radar. That is what we have out there right now. All right, let's go through here real quick again. It looks like as it works through the Whiteville area there, it's moving to the northeast about 45 miles per hour. This is going to stay, it's maintaining its intensity. You see how it's still wrapped up there, right? The greens meeting the reds, moving to the northeast about 45 miles per hour. If you are downstream from this, we're talking about areas near Wisconsin Rapids, near Amherst, near Plover, you are going to want to take your tornado precautions. That includes finding the lowest level of your home, putting as many walls between you and the outside world as you can, and then also, put bike helmets on the kids, put on their hockey gear if you need to, right? Because that will help protect them if that tornado does impact your neighborhood or your home from flying debris out there. So right now it looks like this could be, judging by this, an EF2 or an EF3 tornado. There are reports this could be in a particularly dangerous situation. So this could mean a devastatingly large tornado working its way into northern parts of Adams County, and it's not alone. So downstream from there, again, here's Wisconsin Rapids, here's the Plover area, Stevens Point's right there, and it's moving in that direction. Let's take a step back and look at the big picture once again. So here's the radar, and look at this. We don't see this very often, right? So in the yellow area here is a tornado watch till 10 o'clock tonight. Now, I will say these back counties over this way will likely be chipped away from this pretty quickly this evening, as the line is moving toward the east about 45 miles per hour. Now, in that line, you see it there, right? The 3 boxes, 1, 2, 3, those are tornado warnings in the portions of Portage County, Adams County, Clark County as well, moving toward the northeast about 35 to 40 miles per hour. Now, what you also see in here is the lightning data is ticking up, right? You see that? See how there's like hardly any lightning there? Then all of a sudden, poof, these things are just now getting going. There's so much instability in the atmosphere. As you go up in height, the wind is turning. That gets these things turning in the atmosphere, and that causes tornadoes, and that's what we're getting out there right now. Here in Rhinelander, just thunder outside currently, but heavy rainfall as well. The severe weather threat up this way is a little bit less. All right, so deeper picture here, big picture. So there's Stevens Point, there's Wisconsin Rapids. This is a tornado warning storm there near Marshfield, just to the south of Marshfield. Also, Wisconsin Rapids is right there. But the main one that we're talking about is entering the area near parts of Adams County. So our threat this afternoon is looking like this. Hail, wind high, heavy rain high as well. And those tornadoes are out there now locally in parts of Adams County and Wood County. All right, here's the fuel, right? Dew points are in the 60s and 70s out there. There's a front off to the west of us. You know what that does, right? The front, it bumps into this very buoyant air full of humidity, full of moisture, full of heat. And where does it have to go? Well, it can't go down. It has to go up, right? So it goes up. It cools off in the atmosphere. You get clouds, you get storms, you get severe weather. And this, when you have dew points near 70, a strong cold front to the west of us, this much heat in the atmosphere, this was just waiting to happen and needed a trigger, and we're getting that out there right now. All right, radar is showing also the estimated rainfall. So this is going to be an issue for us tonight. These storms are going to slow down as they enter central Wisconsin this evening. What that means is they are dumping 2 to 3 inches per hour, their rainfall rates are, right? No sewer, no city sewer can handle that much precipitation that quickly. So localized flooding is likely this evening in more populated areas like Portage County and Marathon County, also Lincoln County and Adams County as these storms go through tonight. All right, so here's Futurecast showing the whole line getting out of here. Look at the timing, right? By 10 o'clock tonight, we're done. It's over. It's off to the east of us. See you later. Behind it, we'll get some drier air moving in for tomorrow morning. And that way, we're going to get this thing out of here quickly tonight. But until then, we have issues. Those issues include tornado warnings in parts of our area right now. They include portions of northern Adams County into Wood County. This is the area targeted by the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma for the worst of the weather today. Now, we're all getting out there right now. Thunder from, the UP of Michigan all the way down to Adams County currently is intensifying as we are talking about it. So here are the advisories. So again, the yellow area is the tornado watch in effect through 10 o'clock tonight, although the back edge of this will be slowly chipped away at as this thing kind of moves toward the east about 45 miles per hour. Within this line, of course, you see it there, right? The red polygons, those are tornado warnings, and that's what we're most concerned about now because one of those actually is radar confirmed, also seen by observers, storm chasers that are out there chasing these things right now. And that is this one right here. You see it right there? So here's Adams County, here's Wood County, here's Portage County, and it's this one right there with all that lightning right there, right, moving this way at about 45 miles per hour. So it's going to clip northern parts of Adams County and then move into Portage County. And I'm telling you, Portage County, these things are not de-intensifying, right? They're actually getting stronger as it works in that direction. So this will likely keep spinning into parts of southern Portage County, maybe even Wapaka County as well as it crosses Highway 39, also Highway 10, which is right there. And that could do damage. In fact, it is doing damage into parts of Adams County right now. All right, so here it is, the wind velocity. Again, this is that product of the atmosphere or our computer system that can show us exactly which direction the wind is flowing where, right? So the radar site's over here in the parts of the Green Bay area, and it looks at this, right? It can see which way the wind is flowing, right? When you get the greens bumping up against the reds, what's that mean? That means a tight circulation in the atmosphere. And there's one right there. There's one right there. Here's one over here. And what, you see that one right there? This one's actually intensifying as we're talking about it right there as it moves into southern parts of Adams County as well. So by far, the worst of the weather is affecting Adams County right now, but it is working into parts of Portage County as well. So here's a closer look here, looking at the radar site from Toma. This is where it began to get warned right there, the Toma area. There are some reports of damage near the Toma area right now. No reports of injuries with that. That is moving toward the northeast at 45 miles per hour, taking it deeper and deeper and deeper into parts of Adams and Portage County, likely holding together as it does so. So here's that storm tracker now. You can see who's on that going forward in the CETA area as well. And then beyond that, we're talking about a more populated area, right? Wisconsin Rapids is right here. Then we also have to go to Stevens Point, and then also, of course, the Amherst area over here, and Highway 10 and Highway 39 are right there. So, we're going to keep an eye on this for you this afternoon. These are intensifying. Oh, here it is again. Look at this. So here's what's called the the correlation coefficient, right? That kind of a fancy technical name for it. But overall, what this mode is doing, it's looking for what should not be in the atmosphere. What's dropping out of the atmosphere? And you see all this red? Well, where does your eye take you? Your eye takes you right there, right? That is the exact place of the circulation for a confirmed tornado on the ground, entering parts of Adams County, about to move into parts of Portage County as it moves northeast at about 35-45 miles per hour. So that, it actually looks like it's taking, if you look at it, if you draw a straight line, look what it's doing, right? You see it? It's hooking. These are classic with this, right? As they get stronger and stronger, they hook more toward the north. This will take it deeper into parts of Portage County. So before, I thought it may go to the south of the Wisconsin Rapids area, which is right there. I'm going to go in here deeper in a second, right there. This may actually go toward the Stevens Point area now and deeper into the Wisconsin Rapids area as well. So as it takes a more of a northerly trajectory, this is classic with these systems. They get so strong they kind of spin themselves up and they keep that rotation going in the atmosphere. So here's our threats again today. Tornadoes are out there right now. The hail and wind threat is there as well. What's going to happen with this entire line, if I'm going to go back over here and show you the entire line, what's going to happen is it's going to go into what we call a bow echo form, right? So here it is. Behind this initial line, a bunch of cold air will form aloft right up here. What that cold air does, it sinks, right? When it sinks, you know, cold air, it sinks, it's heavy. It pushes this line out ahead of it this way. So you can get that to happen very, very quickly. So you get this whole line to kind of bow out or bow echo, right? And then it's going to push to the east even faster. You get that wind, that initial movement, that 60 to 70 miles per hour. You can transfer that wind down to the surface. And what do you get? You get wind gusts or sustained winds even of 60, 70, 80 miles per hour at the surface. This is what happened a couple years ago near Elko, right? Remember that? Where it had all those trees knocked down. Power was out for days. They were not confirmed tornadoes. They were straight line wind gusts. And that's exactly what's happening with this line now. And look where it is. It's still to the west of Highway 39. It has to go this way. It's intensifying, getting stronger, and it's bow echoing. What that means is it's likely going to start transferring that wind energy down to the Earth's surface. And when you do that, you can cause all sorts of damage. If you're in a tent, you do not want to be in a tent. If you're in a campground, you want to get out of that campground. Most campgrounds around here have storm shelters nearby. Find that place and seek shelter quickly, because you're not going to want to be in a tent or a mobile home this evening as these storms come through, because they are picking up lots of wind in the atmosphere right now. And it'll likely begin to, it's not all happening yet, it'll likely begin to start transferring that wind energy down to the surface. You get 60, 70, 80 mile per hour winds. You get dense pine forest. You get the ground that's wet, so it's not really stable right now. You can knock over a lot of trees in that environment. Let's go check on Adams County once again. Here's that storm right there. You see it entering parts of Adams County. And you see what it's doing, right? It's kind of turning more toward the north. That's going to take it deeper into portions of Portage County and maybe even clip parts of Marathon County now as it works its way across portions of Portage County. So overall, they're turning more toward the north. So here's our threat area this evening. Again, it's pretty much everybody, although the threat for tornadoes is pretty much confined to central Wisconsin. Here's the fuel. Dew points are up there. This is how buoyant the atmosphere is, how much moisture. Basically, you can take a towel and wring this stuff out. You get a couple inches, if not more, of rainfall in the atmosphere. And storms, of course, can concentrate that rainfall. When you concentrate it, you get localized flooding. And we're looking at 2-3 inch per hour rainfall rates right now entering parts of Wood County over toward portions of Adams County, Marathon County, and Portage County as well. I can hear the rain here on the roof at the station. Is not raining as hard here as it is over here. So overall, the Northwoods getting by with this okay so far. But again, the bulk of the precipitation is still back off to our west. All right, Futurecast shows the story, right? This thing is all going to come here. I'm going to run that through again. Watch it right here. Let's go through that again. Here it is now. They're still intensifying. Then they bow out and push rapidly to the east, right? This is a classic sign of these. It's going to do a ton of damage across portions of eastern Wisconsin, because that's where the pine forests are really thick, and that's also going to blow down lots of trees as that gets going here this afternoon. All right, so here we go. We're going to go into looking outside, and it's again, right, more storms out there now, and that's going to keep going from there. So I'm going to toss over to Devin Biggs now for a minute to catch up on what's happening outside in Rhinelander right now. Devin?
Yeah, so we have some thunderstorms continuing to move through right now, and a little bit of a good news to report, at least a little bit, with the Adams County storm that's had that tornado debris signature. If we can take max 2 real quick, we'll break that down real quick though. And right now the tornado debris signature is starting to back off a little bit as it tracks off towards the north and east. So let's show you that right now. As a product, again, we don't use very often though. It's starting to kind of spread out a little bit. So the latest reports that we're currently looking at is mainly showing that things are starting to back off just a little bit. They're still going observed on us. There's still a tornado on the ground, but they're not saying it's as an extremely dangerous situation as before. But of course, we're continuing to watch multiple tornado warnings that continue to develop, though, as all this continues to track off towards the north and east. So for those wondering, those in the Northwoods, we're hearing plenty of rain here on the roof of the station here in Rhinelander, and nothing is severe in Rhinelander right now. Just some heavy downpours being noted at this point, though. We can look at the hail. No hail being noted at this point. Rotation, not seeing any rotation here in Rhinelander at this point either. So that is some good news. Just heavy downpours being noted in the Northwoods, though. So that is some good news to be noted there. But the big problem is across parts of Wood County, though, where again we do have that tornado warning. It's in effect. Thankfully, only radar indicated, though. So we're focused. It looks like it's just near parts of Pittsville, just to the north and west. So ARPN, this looks to be heading in your backyard. We'll throw the radar into motion real quick, though. It's tracking to the north and east. So ARPN, if you're right there, get underground now. This is heading in your direction, though. And farther down toward the south, we're continuing to see more of these rotation signatures to be noted with that tornado warning. No, the big worry that we have right now is the storm is tracking off towards the north and east, heading towards Adams County, northern Adams County, though. So Rome, you're not in this warning just yet. But again, we'll take a look at that debris signature, though. It's starting to spread out just a little bit, which might be an indication that might be weakening just a little bit, though. It's not as well pronounced. So hopefully that weakening trend continues, though, as it does track off towards the north and east. So let's zoom the radar out just a little bit more and throw this into motion here. This is kind of what we're looking at as it does track off towards the north and east. We're tracking really two warnings. There's two in our viewing area right now as far as tornado warnings is concerned. There's still that severe thunderstorm warning that was issued before, too, but we're continuing to keep an eye on this as it does track off towards the north and east. So again, a little bit closer, though. Again, we're seeing all the rotation signatures that we're keeping an eye on, mainly across parts of Wood County. Again, we just saw that in ARPN earlier. It's not too strong, but strong enough to warrant that tornado warning, though. And just about to enter into Adams County, that tornado that's been on the ground, that's been confirmed by radar, and a few spotters, though, that they have been out keeping an eye on this as well. Let's show you some of the storm reports. Nothing immediate just yet with the tornadoes, but I'm sure that's going to be changing in a big hurry, though, as far as confirmed National Weather Service reports with the radar signatures that we have seen rather recently. So give me a little bit more of a bigger picture, though. This is what we're watching. Of course, these storms are just blowing up, and of course, lots of water in the atmosphere as well. And we're going to keep watching this as it tracks off towards the north and east with plenty of tornado more storms that will continue to develop, and maybe more tornado warnings that might get issued as this does develop. But it's not just a tornado warning that we have our eye on, though. We have, again, two of those in our immediate viewing area as far as tornado warnings. There's also that big yellow box right there. And that yellow box right there is a tornado watch that's in effect for pretty much our entire viewing area, except for a few counties, though. So we'll take a look. Mainly Price County not in it, and really everyone else is in effect really until about 10 p.m. tonight. But as this line here, this is a line that we have our eye on. It's tracking towards the east. And once this moves through, you're done with all the excitement. Things can calm down. You can go about your usual business and maybe do any cleanup as need be. So all these alerts right here will last for just a little while yet, but plenty of fuel here for the fire, though, with again showing that there's plenty of temperatures that are in the 70s, 80s, and maybe close to 90s in a few spots. This is one of the aspects right there. And of course, we do have dew points. Man, look at this, right? Dew points in the 60s and 70s, just oppressive air out there as that front continues to move through. So of course, we've been watching this, right? This is a severe threat that we've been watching today, and so far it's been verifying across our central and southern counties with that moderate threat, that 4 out of 5 risk, and that is where the tornado warnings are at right now. Rhinelander and other surrounding areas, you're not out of the woods just yet, but thankfully things starting to look a little bit easier. But now you're hearing tornado warning. What's all this terminology here that we're talking about, though? Let's kind of give you a quick little definition of what we're looking at here. Tornado watch, we're under that right now. Conditions are favorable. We're under that warning right now. That means it's spotted. Thankfully, no tornado emergencies at this point. That's at one level above tornado warnings. We do not have that at this point. So really, as we break this down, though, again, really you want to be looking at where you should take shelter. So areas that you should be taking shelter in: a hallway, lowest floor of your home or business, stairwell, bathroom, hall, closet, anywhere inside that can protect you, multiple walls between you and the outdoors. A basement is the best way to help protect yourself from anything that could develop as need be. So let's go to rewind here and really kind of talk about what's going on. So a lot of lightning with this too. So we talk about this a lot. So obviously, do not use any landline phones. Anything that's plugged into a wall, lightning can strike that and damage the appliances and could hurt you as well. So again, cell phones are okay to use, anything not plugged in, but otherwise, though, you want to be smart with that as it does develop. But otherwise, though, let's zoom in real quick, though, and it looks like they might have dropped the tornado warning for Wood County. I'm not seeing any new alerts being issued at this point for Wood County, so that might be some good news to report there. It seems like they have dropped the warning for now. now, so we can at least happily focus on just the warning that's in parts of Adams County at this point. Still going observed for Adams and Juneau counties for at least another 15 minutes or so. We will see if they do decide to extend this. So, as again, we do have plenty of reason to believe that this tornado is starting to weaken a little bit more, though. The good news to report there is radar is not showing much debris at this point. The last few frames we were seeing some of this, and really it looks like it might have lifted. There's still maybe a little bit of debris that might be entering the parts of southern Wood County, so things starting to improve just a little bit, though, but just seem to give it just a little bit more time, and really before things start to improve just a little bit. Otherwise, though, a lot of lightning, though, and really with a storm to the south, that's heading into parts of Adams County. Let's take a quick count of the lightning, though, and really there's a lot of lightning within the last several minutes. 366 lightning strikes, and that could be a problem as things do continue to develop. Jeff, do you want me to toss back to you, or do you want me to keep talking?
I will take it from here, take a little breakdown if you want to. We are talking, I just checked and saw, and we have no confirmed tornadoes on the ground at the moment. That one in Wood County lifted, so we're in a good spot there. If we can switch back over to Max 1, we did. Thank you very much, Paul. Of course, this is the area of concern for us right now, right? So we're all getting thunderstorms out there currently across parts of Vilas County and Oneida County. Non-severe up this way. Across central Wisconsin, though, that's a different story. Severe storms there are ongoing, and they're forming into a line, a squall line, that's going to push east at about 50 to 60 miles per hour. So here's the big picture, like Devin said. This is where our tornado watch is in effect. The yellow area is a tornado watch, right? The atmosphere is it's conducive to tornadoes out there this afternoon. You have lots of rotation with height in the atmosphere. It's called shear. You have lots of moisture in the atmosphere. That's buoyancy. And you combine those things together with a cold front across the west right now and bumping up into this environment. And we kind of just knew things were going to go today, and they have gone now across parts of central Wisconsin currently. All right, here's the bigger picture. We're talking about lots of lightning out there right now. Devin, do you have a question? All right, let's go
Jeff,
as we can.
New tornado warning. We can go to Max 2 real quick. Jeff, this is for parts of Adams and Juneau counties. So this is a different storm that is just to the south of that, heading for the Adams and Springfield area. And that is in effect until about 5:30 p.m. This is radar indicated for tornado and quarter-size hail. And just as we toss here, a new severe thunderstorm warning being noted, though, for parts of the Stevens Point area. This is in parts of Portage County, though. Portage and Wood County is under this new severe thunderstorm warning. And that is in effect roughly, we can get that map to pop up for you there. That is lasting until about 5:45 p.m. Pulling up the information, this is tracking off towards the east very quickly with 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, so not much of a hail danger there. But now switching to more of a wind threat as this does continue to develop more into a line. But of course, a big concern, though, on top of the severe thunderstorm warning and the wind threat are the tornado warnings. Jeff, we have two separate tornado warnings now in parts of Adams County.
We do, and they're radar indicated right now, meaning that they are not confirmed by law enforcement or storm spotters right now. However, that doesn't mean it's not hitting the ground or not on the ground. It means we don't see it at the moment. And you can see the environment here. These storms here, you see how they're getting more and more lightning in there? What lightning is in a storm, it basically tells us that storm is intensifying, right? You need updrafts to get lightning. We're getting lots of updrafts out there currently, and that you can see the lightning is actually upticking just a bit. These storms are pulsing, and when that does that, they can also begin to rotate some, right, as they get stronger and pull in more and more air from around it. Let's go in here now into portions of Wood County and Portage County. So here's that tornado warned storm. Again, there is not a confirmed tornado on the ground with this at the moment. However, these storms do have a history of producing tornadoes that have been confirmed, and radar indicated damage as well. Earlier, we had that correlation coefficient. We could see actually a tornado was doing some damage. So here we are in Wood County. Over here is Portage County. Stevens Point area is right there. Highway 39 is right here. This storm does have some hail with it. Likely about quarter to golf ball size hail is beginning to be impacted in this storm as well. As you see, they're tapping into more and more cold air up in the atmosphere. It transfers that cold energy down, and you get stronger and bigger hail. That's happening out there right now. And this storm, as it moves toward the Portage County area, Stevens Point is right here. Plover is right there. Wapaka County, of course, is beyond this. And then, of course, Marathon County is right there. That storm is intensifying. So let's put a tracker on it for you. Who's it going to impact here shortly? We're talking about Carson right here. Dancy also in the pack of this. Knowlton. And then downstream from there, we're talking other areas, Park Ridge too, by about 5:16. So this storm, again, is tornado warned. It does not have a confirmed tornado on it at the moment. However, it could do that at any moment. further south from there. Here we are again in the portions of Wood County and Adams County as well. This storm here, notice how it is still intensifying, meaning the updrafts are increasing, which could also mean is getting larger hail, and that hail is likely going to cause problems with car damage and other things across the region as well. Okay, so when we want to, we can go forward this. Look at that there. We can see the bigger picture once again. Here's the hail tracker. And again, there's not a lot of hail. Let's go into portions of Wood County and Portage County there. So there's a little bit of hail right here moving into Wood and Portage County. But again, they're not really hailing a lot at the moment because the atmosphere is so warm at many layers of the atmosphere. It takes a lot to bring those cooler temperatures down. All right, here is also the velocity. And you know, the velocity is that radar product that looks in a circle, right? It looks at the storm and says, hey, where is the wind moving in that storm? And that storm is rotating if you have the red bumping up against the green. Now, earlier, this was that tornadic storm we had that was causing damage, and this was moving, and now it looks like it's faded away. So there we go. These things are pulsing down just a bit. The hail is going to come up as the threat continues across parts of north central Wisconsin. Let's go out live to the field now. Our own Griffin Stroin joins us live from Hodag Park, I believe, in Rhinelander. Let's ask Griffin. Griffin, what do you see out there right now?
Yeah, Jeff, right now it is a constant rainstorm here at Hodag Park. Lots of thunder and lightning as well. I mean, it's a barrage. You know, every few seconds you hear a big thing of thunder and then the lightning comes down. Also, the roads, very, very slippery and very flooded as I was heading out here to the park. So if you are, or you know anyone driving on the roads, make sure to take it slow. If anything, I would recommend probably not going out on the roads because it is a very dangerous and wet field out there right now. And remember, don't go out by any water. Try not to be outside in general. It's not pretty. It's not like yesterday where you want to be out by the beach and by the water. This is the exact opposite of that. So make sure, go inside, stay safe. There will be other more beautiful days to hang out and do stuff outside in the Northwoods. But really, just a constant rainfall here in Rhinelander. I think we're lucky compared to some of those people down south. But really, lots and lots of rain, thunder, and lightning here in Rhinelander. Reporting, I'm live, Griffin Stroin.
All right, Griffin makes some very good points out there, meaning stay away from water. These storms are very electrically charged out there right now, and they have lots of oomph behind them. So just wait it out. There's no reason to go outside in this if you don't have to. Stay indoors if you can. All right, let's look at a couple things around here. So this is also the correlation coefficient. Now, earlier, this was that tornado that was doing damage across portions of Wood County and portions of Adams County as well. That is now faded away as it's entered portions of, Portage County up here north and east. So here's the bigger picture again. All of us are under the gun right now, right? So further north, say north of Highway 64, most of these, if not all of these, are non-severe. Like Griffin said, they're just heavy rain events across our region right now. That heavy rain, though, could lead to localized flooding. If you take a look at this, right, if you put your finger in a certain spot, you have kind of heavy rain rolling over the same areas again and again and again. What that does, we call that training. And when you do that, you're dumping 1, 2, 3 inch per hour rainfall rates on the same areas again and again. You can get localized flooding. That's really an issue when you get over urban areas, that concrete jungle we call it. When you land on that concrete, the water has no place to go, and you can get really quickly some flooding across the area. Let's go further south here again. Adams County under the gun still with a severe thunderstorm warning and a tornado warning there, but notice again, your eye goes toward the lightning data. See how it's upticking? That's likely a sign these are beginning to kind of bow themselves out, meaning they're lifting up higher into the atmosphere. You're getting more electrically charged to it, and likely reaching into some hail too that'll begin falling out of them as well. Further north, we're talking about heavy rain from Eagle River back over to Prentice, back over to Park Falls, Land O'Lakes, all getting heavy rain right now. But these are all non-severe and will likely at this point stay non-severe, say north of Highway 64. Again, all of us are under a tornado watch until 10 o'clock. It'll likely be chipped away from west to east across the area this evening as that front begins to move across the area. All right, so here are all the threats out there for tonight. The hail, wind threat, of course, heavy rain as well. And there are a couple of tornadoes out there so far. However, they were confirmed earlier. Those have now come down in coverage. Paul, what'd you say? I'm sorry. All right, here is a live shot of Wausau with the storms, of course, just off to the west of the Wausau area. And you can get a glimpse of this. I need a bigger picture to see if we see a wall cloud here, but you can definitely see the pavement is wet. The trees are blowing in the breeze. there is an incredible amount of moisture in these thunderstorms right now, and they are raining themselves out over north central Wisconsin. We will likely be getting some flash flood advisories here shortly as these continue to train over the same areas again and again and again. And I'm telling you, here's the fuel. This is the dew point, right? The dew point is if you wrung out the atmosphere, higher dew point numbers create more moisture, right? You get more in the bucket, and you can wring out this atmosphere. It's like Key West or Key Largo out there with all this moisture in the atmosphere. Now we need a front to come along and kick that out of here. That's happening out there tonight. This is the radar estimated rainfall. This is not an exact science because it's just not. But overall, you can see the idea here of where the heaviest rainfall is falling. And again, it's falling over the same areas again and again and again. And many of us could use the rain. Your garden wants the rain, but too much of a good thing can be too much of a good thing. So notice though, by tonight, so by 10 o'clock tonight, this thing is out of here, and that's good and that's bad, right? We want it to get out of here, but we don't want it to go too fast because as it picks up steam, it'll likely transfer that wind energy down to the Earth's surface. When you do that, right, you can transfer 60, 70, 80 mile per hour wind gusts down to the Earth's surface, and you know what that does. We've been through this before a couple years ago. Remember the Elko area was devastated by straight line wind damage that had the power out for days. We don't want that to happen. We're not seeing that happen quite yet, but looking at the storms out there now, it's beginning to take on more of a linear fashion, a bow echo fashion that could definitely transfer that wind energy down to the surface. All right, Devin, over to you.
Yeah, so we have the tornado warning that we just talked about a little while ago that includes the city of Adams. That has now been upgraded to a confirmed tornado on the ground. So we're going to take a quick look at that. This is Weather Spotter's confirmed tornado. So we're talking about the storm that's heading into central parts of Adams County, right about in there. So let's go on ahead and show you what we're talking about here. So this kind of, I guess you can call it this blob right about in here that's moving into western Adams County right now. It's going to go south from the city of Adams. That is a confirmed tornado that is on the ground right now. And I'm not seeing any debris being lofted at this point, though, so I guess that is good news. But unfortunately, we have eyes on the ground that tells you that this is a confirmed tornado that is on the ground that could possibly be doing some damage at some point, though, for those across parts of central Adams County. So those in the city of Adams and areas to the south, for sure, definitely need to be in shelter at this point with a lot of these storms here that continue to develop. And it looks like we have a brand new tornado warning that just got issued that now includes the city of Wausau. We were just talking about that sky cam right there that had that very suspicious shot. That is that storm now that's tracking to the north and east, and that is moved to the northeast. Let me see if I can get some data on it here. That is in effect until about 5:30 p.m. and this is radar indicated rotation. So this is in effect until 5:30 and moving northeast at about 45 miles per hour. So let's get real close here, and real quick before we do that, we'll throw the radar into motion, kind of give you an idea on where this is going. It's tracking to the north and east. So the city of Texas, in fact, Johnson, you're not in that immediate warning, but you're right on the line, so I probably would head to shelter too. Easton and Glandon and other areas, Nutterville, you're probably getting it really good right now. And of course, the city of Wausau, seeing that downpour at this point too. And of course, with it being a brand new tornado warning, and yeah, we can see some of that rotation starting to show up a little bit on radar within the last few frames as it does continue to track off towards the north and east. So those areas though, again, Texas, Easton, I would be watchful of this. Wausau, you should be in the basement as well as this does continue to develop and track off towards the north and east. There's plenty of issues here with this storm that continues to develop though and tracks off towards the north and east again. So more issues will be taking place as things do move forward. Let's give you the bigger picture right now though. And another new tornado warning that just got issued now, and we do have this one up for parts of Wood and Portage County. This one also up until about 5:30 p.m. So when we're looking at what this storm is, again, we're going to be seeing it again until 5:30, and this is moving to the northeast very fast at about 65 miles per hour. This is radar indicated rotation. So Jeff, this is not a good situation. We just had like 2 tornado warnings between when he tossed to me and me tossing back to you now.
We just looked a second ago and we saw that the whole line was upticking, right? Increasing in coverage and intensity. We saw a little more lightning data on there, and these storms are intensifying now as they work into parts of Marathon County and Portage County. Here's a big picture. Yellow is a tornado watch. Red are tornado warnings. We have several of those right now. Included in there is Marathon County, right? So let's take a look here and see exactly where we're at. So here's the Wausau area. And in fact, if we could get the sky cam back again, Paul, if we can, take a live look at the Wausau area. We don't have that? Okay, well, if we can get that back, we can get that back if we can. But overall, here's the Wausau area, that line just now going through. I thought I saw it there for a second. And in that region, here it is. Here's the Wausau area now. Extremely heavy rainfall. It looks like the worst of it's kind of just off to the west. They're about to push through that area now. But notice how there are still lots of people out, right? Not a good idea. There is a tornado warning in portions of Marathon County. You want to find the safest place of your home you can find, most likely a basement or interior hallway, and put as many walls between you and the outside world as we possibly can. That will protect you and your kids. Also, go beyond that, and if you have to go into your bathroom, put a mattress over you in the bathtub, and also put a bike helmet on the kids, or put on their hockey gear if you have to keep them safe, because this storm means business. We have 3 or 4 tornado warnings across our viewing area right now, any of which could be causing damage at this time. All right, Paul, back with me if you can. We can see the big line right there. Let's go deeper into portions of Marathon County. So here's the Wausau area right there. Here's the town of Texas Devin was speaking of. And this storm is moving to the northeast about 35 miles per hour. So Gleason's right there. Over here we have the Nova area. Anago is right there. So this is going to go just to the north and to the west of the Anago area, as it's now over the town of Texas, moving to the northeast about 45 miles per hour. Notice how it's picking up intensity, right? Likely getting some hail with this one as well, as they are tapping into some much colder temperatures aloft as these things are reaching 50,000 feet into the atmosphere. Let's look and see who's going to be in this one, right? So Glandon's there, Ackley's there, Pleasant View Elementary School is in there as well in terms of Anago, the north and the west side of Anago at 5:29, with a tornado warning now for parts of Marathon County. And now this is radar confirmed, right? Or radar originated. It has not been seen by law enforcement yet, but does not mean it's not reaching the ground and is likely or can do some damage. Further south, same story. Here we are in parts of Portage County again. Stevens Point area under the gun. Traveling north on 39, don't do it. If you need to travel north into parts of the Wausau area from Stevens Point, just don't do it right now. Give it a rest, because likely this storm here will be dropping some hail shortly, and then that's also going to cause damage to your cars and vehicles. The atmosphere is in a prime spot right now to give us some very large hail this evening. Upwards of golf ball to tennis ball size hail are possible with any of these storms tonight. All right, so bigger picture shows further to the north, here's that Marathon County storm right there. Portage County storm is right there. Further south, same story. Notice the incredible amount of electricity in the atmosphere as these storms move deeper and deeper into central, north central Wisconsin, pushing toward the east, northeast about 35 miles per hour. There are some cells within this line that are moving closer to 60 miles per hour. And what I want to show you there is, let's go back here if you can. Notice how it's all kind of coming together and forming one line. That's good and that's bad, right? Because that way to the west, things are going to end quicker, but you can kind of even see it right there. What this does, or what they do, is behind these lines, cool air aloft forms over here. Like say over the Eau Claire area. When you get that cold air aloft, cold air is heavy, it's dense, right? It's not buoyant and hot like it is over on this side, right? When you do that, that air begins to sink. Well, when the air sinks, it pushes this front out ahead of it. What does that do, and why does that concern you? Well, that's because it can push this line even faster toward the east-northeast and transfer that wind energy down to the surface. You get 60, 70, 80 mile per hour wind gusts down to the Earth's surface. That is going to cause damage out there, and that damage is occurring across our region as we speak. All right, let's go in here closer. Here we are in Portage County again, and Wood County as well. Again, moving toward the east here. These are tornado warned at the moment. However, they are radar indicated, not radar confirmed. So that means that they could be rotating at the Earth's surface, but they may not be. We just want to make that precaution because the radar can see it, but it may not be hitting the ground. Here's the hail tracker, and I put this on here because there's been a couple upticks in hail, especially across portions of Portage County. You get this. You see how they pulse like that? They go up, then they come down. They go up, then come down. Hail is heavy. It's ice, right? Like picture an ice cube in your freezer. You get that up in the atmosphere. That storm has to kind of keep it aloft. It's hard to do because it gets heavy, and they do is they go up, then they come down. They go up, then they come down, and likely these storms are pulsing. We call that out there right now. Here's the wind velocity, and this is that product where you can show which way the wind is flowing. Is it flowing toward the radar or away? Red is toward, green is away. When you get that and you see a red bumping up against a green, that is rotation in the atmosphere, not always on the ground, but in the atmosphere. That could be on the ground, thus a tornado. And it looks like we still have one right now moving into portions of central Adams County. The Adams Friendship area is right there. If you are in Adams Friendship, take cover. These are your tornado precautions, right? Make sure you put as many walls between you and the outside world as you can. Put a bike helmet on the kids. Hide in your closet. Put as many walls between you and the outside world, and also find your basement if possible too. And then two, also call neighbors that don't have basements and invite them over. This is a good time to do neighborly. Let's toss it back over to Devin Biggs.
Yeah, so we're starting to get some reports coming in a little bit though. In Wisconsin Rapids, we got a thunderstorm wind gust below severe limits of around 53 miles per hour. And note 58 miles per hour is what we need for it to be considered severe. So we didn't see that thankfully over Wisconsin Rapids, but still that's still rather strong. Let's go over to Max 2 real quick if we can, Paul, and that's what we're kind of looking at here with that tornado warning. It was actually a new one issued for a little while ago. If there's any good news, it's actually a downgrade from observed to at least radar indicated. However, though, the hail's starting to become a concern, along with some of the wind, too. I want to switch over to what we call our storm relative velocity. There's still some rotation, though, but look at what the radar is sampling with how strong some of these winds could be, at least aloft from the radar site that's kind of measuring this, and this is being measured mainly out of the La Crosse area at this point. So I'm just going to kind of click in a whole lot of places, though, and we're seeing some of these wind gusts reaching up to around 75, 77 miles per hour. I was able to create one, or find one, I should say, that was up to around 80 miles per hour earlier. I'm going to see if I can try to find that again, but right now, there it is right there. Some possible, at least up aloft at least, not sure if this is reaching the ground, that could reach up to around 80 miles per hour. So that's some decent winds, though. So even if we're not seeing too much rotation, which we are at this point, though, but rotation or not, there's still plenty of wind that could do some damage should that make its way down to the Earth's surface. So, of course, on top of that, though, we do have that tornado warning that continues, and there's a little bit of a hail threat, though. We'll switch over to the hail tracker, though, for parts of Adams County, and this is all tracking off towards the east as well, and starting to see a little bit of hail starting to show up, with radar indicating about 1-inch size. That is considered severe. That is considered quarter-size hail, so radar is starting to indicate that we're starting to get some stronger updrafts, so which is showing some of those storms that are continuing to develop. Of course, that's not the only storm that we do have our eye on right now, though. This is continuing to develop mainly toward the north as well, as we are continuing to watch that tornado warning across parts of Portage and Wood County, and that is up for at least a little while yet as it tracks off towards the north and east. And of course, the tornado warning that's in effect for parts of Marathon County, stretching to parts of Lincoln County, and then parts of Langley County as well. So far, it's safe to say that all the tornado warnings in effect for our immediate viewing area, Jeff, are all radar indicators. So that's some good news, though. That's at least a downgrade from some of the observed tornadoes earlier, including that debris signature that we saw near Toma, which is outside of our viewing area. But we're not out of the woods yet by any means, right, Jeff?
Yeah, we're making some progress in terms of not having confirmed tornadoes on the ground. However, we're not making progress in terms of locally heavy rainfall, large hail developing, and also incredibly strong winds, straight line wind gusts now heading into portions of central and eastern parts of Wisconsin as we speak about them. So here we go. Let's look outside now. Let's check on over. Griffin Stroin joins us again in Rhinelander from Hodag Park. Griffin, what are you seeing out there right now?
Yeah, right now things are definitely still more of the same when we last talked. I will say that the rain has probably slowed down a tiny bit here, but you still hear the constant thunder. I haven't seen as many lightning strikes, but things are still not great here, definitely at Hodag Park. There were some people that came by to, I guess, view the storm here from the park. We don't recommend that. Definitely stay in your home, stay safe. Better safe than sorry. They have long gone now after I told them that probably not the best idea. I mean, I'm hearing everything that you guys are saying, and you want to make sure that, you stay safe during this storm. Once again, if you know anyone out on the roads, make sure that they are taking it nice and easy. There's been a lot of flash flooding, and I've just been able to notice puddles here at Hodag Park that have been growing and growing with this constant level of rain that we are getting. So, once again, it's always better to be safe than sorry. Don't want to mess around with a storm like this. And once again, just the constant flowing of rain. The wind has picked up here a little bit, like Jeff was saying. So, once again, it's not one of those nice Northwoods days where you want to be outside and enjoying the sunshine. Stay inside, put on a movie, watch, of course, and make sure to pay attention to the weather team here. We're trying to keep you guys as safe as possible during this storm that we are dealing with. But reporting live here at Hodag Park, I'm Griffin Stroin.
All right, makes a good point there because we are seeing lots of ponding on the roadways. There is a lot of moisture in the atmosphere to wring out, and these storms do that. They centralize the moisture and then wring it out, right? And that could be an inch to 2 or 3 inch per hour rainfall rates causing some flooding across the area now. So here's a sight you don't see very often. Here is a look at the advisories. Yellow is a tornado watch. Red are tornado warnings. There's 4 of them out here right now. Now, the good news is these are radar in the sky, right? They're not confirmed on the ground at the moment. However, they could reach ground in a moment. So if you're under one of these, we're talking about parts of Marathon County, just to the east of the Wausau area, moving toward the Antigo area. It's going to go just north of the Antigo area. Ports of Portage County is right here. We're talking about areas like Plover, Stevens Point, Amherst, even Wapaka, and then to the south of there are parts of Adams County as well. Notice what's going on here, right? So earlier we had supercells that developed in this line or in the front of the line, and now that line is forming into a bow echo or a very large squall line, and these are just notorious. It's classic, right? They're notorious for developing a cold pool of air behind them. That cold pool of air sinks in the atmosphere, pushes that line out ahead of it, and it gives the whole line some oomph, right? And the problem with that is instead of having tornadoes, right, isolated tornadoes, you get a whole lot of straight line wind, and that straight line wind damage can be widespread. And I fear that's what's happening now from portions of the Rhinelander area, back south into parts of Langley County, over toward the Antigo, toward the Elko, and just going through parts of Marathon and Portage County as well, as this whole line begins to do a bow echo thing like this. And notice how the lightning data is not coming down. It's maintaining its intensity, and in this line you get little spin-ups right now these little spin-ups, although they are tornado warned, they are not confirmed by any visual law enforcement or storm spotters at the moment. Here's the one of most concern currently. So we're talking about the Wausau areas right there. It went right over the Wausau area. We watched it on our Skycam, and now it's just to the east of that area. Texas is right there. Gleason is right here. It's between Gleason and Texas, and upstream from here, Antigo is right there. It's going to travel on the northwest side of the Antigo area. So if you're on Highway 45 and you want to go north to Elko, don't do it. This storm will likely develop some hail in there, high winds of 60 miles per hour or greater, and give lots of drama and problems for your car vehicle as you're moving in that direction. The lightning data is up as well. You can see lots of lightning in the atmosphere. These storms are pulsing as they develop more hail across the area now. And in the path of the storm, we're talking about places, like the Ackley area, like the Antigo area, like the Nova area, that could see wind gusts near 60 miles per hour or isolated tornadoes out of this. Now, what that means, you want to take cover. Take your tornado precautions right now, and that could mean finding an interior room, interior closet, put as many walls between you and the outside world as you possibly can, and then what you want to do is keep yourself safe, right? So gather your pets, gather your friends, call your neighbors who don't have basements or a safe place, so invite them over, a good time to be neighborly, and invite them in and kind of ride this out together as this storm squall line does mean business. Now, right now, there are no confirmed tornadoes on the ground. However, they could do that at any moment as they work their way through the Langley County area, the Antigo area, and eastern parts of the Wausau area as well. For the south, same story here. Stevens Point is right there. We're talking about heavy, heavy rain. This is tornado warned again, but there's no confirmed tornadoes in here right now. I'm stepping off screen for a second to get a new report. Here's a live look at the Stevens Point area. This is on campus, of course, at UWSP. And look at that. Again, this is warned storm. This is what, 65-mile-per-hour wind gusts can look like, torrential downpours. This will likely cause some power outages in that area. And if I asked Devin if he could look up the current power outage map from WPS to see where we look on that right now. So there's also a confirmed earlier, a man north of Merrill witnessed a tornado touchdown. So we are getting confirmed reports now of these tornadoes that are hitting the ground. And it may be briefly, it may be a long time like the one that was out in Adams County earlier. But overall, this is something to take very seriously as this works through Portage County into Adams County, further north from there as well. In fact, here's that one further north as we exit the parts of the, the Weston areas right there. So here's Weston, here's Marathon County, Wausau as well. This thing moving northeast about 35 miles per hour just to the north of the Antigo area. All right, so bigger picture again, and you see what's happening. This is forming into a bow echo, right? It's almost like there's a big gust of wind back behind it, kind of just like pushing it along, and that's what's happening. And it's going to really create some issues with straight line wind gusts across the region, and that could lead to more power problems, more trees down, and also more damage across our area later on this evening. All right, Devin, back over to you.
Of course, with the power outages, Jeff, you were just asking to get some information there. And Wausau, so far the winner with the power outage map, with just under 1,500 people without power right now. Sugar Camp reporting power outages with about 379 people without power at this point. And that's kind of the only noteworthy power outages being noted, though. So a lot of people over in parts of Wausau are currently without power. So some of you might be watching us on Facebook Live because we're dealing with the power outages over in Wausau right now. So we're not only live on the air, we are live on Facebook, on our website, WJFW.com, and we'll be with you until this begins to wrap up. So on top of the power outages, though, again, we do have those storms, though. Let's give you a quick recap if we can go to Max 2 real quick, Paul, and we can keep things breaking down on what we're looking at, though. These storms are continuing to hold together with, again, a tornado warning out for parts of Langlade, Lincoln, and Marathon County, and that's up until 5:30 p.m. Right now, it's 5:16 p.m., so we have a little while to go yet with this storm as it does continue to track off towards the north and east. For now, it is definitely being considered as radar indicated, but let's definitely take a look at the radar here with the velocity, and that's a very suspicious couplet, though. I'm definitely seeing definitely some wind being noted, though, with that as well as it tracks off towards the north and east. So again, within the last few frames, we've been seeing it kind of take a little bit more of a northeasterly jog. So Anago, Neva, and Peck, I would keep an eye on this. So this might be heading in your direction, though, and even some winds with that rotation too. No guarantee that it's reaching to the ground, but at least possibly up to 60-mile-per-hour winds being noted, at least on parts of the atmosphere, at least where the radar beam is sampling and sending things back toward the radar site out of Green Bay. So let's zoom things out and give you a little bit more of a bigger view, though. This is not the only tornado warning we have our eye on, though. We're still watching tornado warnings across parts of Portage and Wood County, again, also expiring at 5:30 p.m. And, of course, down in Adams County, too, where they had a close call with a tornado as well. On top of the tornado concern, though, which is still considered radar indicated, we're also watching, that's the only storm I've seen that's produced some concerns with hail, and maybe a little bit of a return being noted, though, across parts of the Wausau area, though, just to the north and east of Wausau, a little bit of a return there. Looks like the hail returns starting to come down a little bit for now across parts of Adams County. But, Jeff, these storms can easily pulse. There's a lot of fuel for these storms to tap into.
Yeah, Devin, we're going to stick with this because we still have pulsing thunderstorms out there right now that are doing damage across our region with straight line wind damage and potentially some tornadoes. So here's the velocity mode once again, and wherever you see a little spin up in here, where the reds meet the greens, that kind of darker color meeting the lighter color, these are little rotations now. They're in their atmosphere. So here we are just north of Stevens Point. There's one right there. There's one just to the west of the Anago area right there, and one across Adams County as well. These are rotations along this very powerful squall line of thunderstorms that could be producing small tornadoes out there. But again, in a squall line like this, it'll spin up very quickly and can do a lot of damage very quickly. So if you're on the western parts of the Anago area, it's now time to take cover. If you are in central portions of Portage County, looking at the eastern parts of Stevens Point area, over toward the, say, the Plover area, also the Amherst area, that is also a tornado there, or could be a tornado on the ground there. So this is your precaution time, right? So here we go. You know what to do. We've been here before, meaning put as many walls between you and the outside world as you can. Also call your neighbors, get them to come over now into that safe spot you have. And then if you can, for the kids, put a bike helmet on the kids, put on their hockey gear if you can. You know, the whole goal here is to stay safe. We're going to ride this thing out. It's winding down slightly, meaning it's pushing into parts of eastern parts of Wisconsin now, but overall the severe weather threat continues and the straight line wind threat continues across our area. All right, here's the correlation coefficient looking at earlier. This was at I know your eye goes right there, you see it? That was the radar, or a function of the radar that can see debris in the atmosphere. It saw that across central Wisconsin. I have not seen that for years around here, and we had that out there today as that pushed into portions of northern parts of Adams County. These storms mean business, a very powerful, likely tornado with that one that was confirmed earlier. So here's the big picture, and again, we're hearing thunder here in Rhinelander again, but if I put my finger on it, you see how the storms are going over the same area again and again and again. That's leading to localized flooding. That's training in the atmosphere. What's going to happen now, though, is there's going to be a boost of rain. It's going to come through the entire region. Here we are now. Looks like the live shot from Rhinelander, Hodag Park. Griffin Strand is there currently, where it is raining heavily, but it's also non-severe weather across far northern Wisconsin currently. Here is Stevens Point, where there is severe weather there. Campus, I'm not sure if campus has power or not, but here we are at Stevens Point on campus with a heavy rainstorm in the area, and they've been dodging what could be tornadoes, at least indicated on radar across that region today. So again, you don't see this very often. Here is a radar, a squall line forming across parts of north central Wisconsin, right across our viewing area, and it's intensifying as it works its way toward the east this evening, toward the Green Bay area. They will get it here in the next couple hours or so, but notice how the lightning is upticking again. These storms pulse in the atmosphere, right? They go up and they come down, they go up and they come down. The cloud heights will reach about 50,000 feet in the atmosphere. That is a large column of thunderstorm that can transfer winds down to the surface and rain and hail, and it's doing that outside right now. All right, so here we go. Let's look at Adams County again. Pushing into parts of the Wapaka area. Here's Stevens Point, where we just saw that live image from Stevens Point. In fact, Paul, can we go back to Point right now? This is what that looks like to be under the radar, under this in Stevens Point, if we can. That's max 2. There we go. Yeah, Stevens Point area, where it's raining heavily. It's also windy. You can feel the camera kind of shaking around just a little bit. That's those wind gusts out there for a severe thunderstorm, with wind gusts approaching 55 to 65 miles per hour with that. All right, so here we are in Rhinelander with looking at heavy rainfall across the area. You can see it's more of a stratoform cloud, right? That means it's just heavy rain potential out here now. The severe weather threat is less across the north woods, lesser than it is across parts of central Wisconsin right now, as these storms have been going across central Wisconsin for the last 2 or 3 hours. Bigger picture once again, so here is Stevens Point, south of that Wisconsin Rapids, south of that Adams County, where they've been under the gun. The most instability in the atmosphere is exactly where those counties are, right? Stevens Point area, over to Wapaka area, over to Adams County. This is where, if you go up in the atmosphere, the wind will change direction several times as you go up in height. That gets these storms spinning. When you get them spinning, you can get a tornado out of that. We've had a couple of those this afternoon and evening across the area. Further north, though, you saw that shot from Griffin Story at Hodag Park. So here's Eagle River. Here's, Ironwood. We're looking at some lightning in here, but the severe weather threat here is much less than it is across parts of central Wisconsin, although we are getting some very heavy rainfall in the Rhinelander area, Eagle River area, also back into Price County and the Prentice area as well. The actual front is off to the west, and that's going to come through later on tonight. So here are the threats for us this evening. It's going to end quickly when it ends. It's going to push out of here very fast in the next hour or two, but the hail threat's there, the wind threat's there, and the heavy rain is definitely there as this event is still ongoing. And here's the fuel. Dew points are incredibly high. This is how buoyant the atmosphere is, how much energy there is. And we had technical data today that said, hey, this is going to be one of those days, kind of like living in northern Oklahoma, where you can just get the atmosphere to explode with intensity, and that's happening out there this afternoon. Devin?
Yeah, so some good news to report, though. The National Weather Service out of Green Bay is going to expire the tornado warning that's in effect for Portage and Wood County, though. And it looks like they're going to be issuing a new severe thunderstorm warning that includes parts of Marathon County. So let's hop on over to Max 2 real quick, though, so you can see this line of storms that continues to develop, though. This is a tornado warning that's in effect, though, and that's going to be lasting for a while. But what I am going to do, though, I'm actually going to go ahead and just pull off the radar data and pull off the lightning, just let you see the warnings, and there is a lot of them, though. That's the tornado warning in Portage and Wood County that's going to be dropped in just a little bit at 5:30 or so, maybe a little bit earlier. This severe thunderstorm warning, though, that you just now see getting issued, if we can get it to pop up on my map, though, might have to get a little bit of an awkward angle, though. That includes parts of Marathon County. That is radar indicated for 60-mile-per-hour winds, though. But, of course, the big issue, though, is definitely the tornado warnings, though, that continue to remain in effect for a few areas. And also, just recently out of the Duluth National Weather Service office, most of the storms have remained mainly below severe limits, but there was one report of dime-sized hail that was reported near the Mercer area. That's near parts of Iron County, though. So we're still seeing some of these storms, even in the Northwoods, that we're trying to pack a little bit of a punch. Thankfully, though, the only warning that's only been severe has been that tornado warning across parts of Marathon and Langlade and parts of the Lincoln counties, though. Not much going on in Oneida County as far as severe weather, but definitely some heavy rain that's definitely moving through at this point, as all this right here continues to track off towards the north and east. So plenty more where this came from, though. We are still in the middle of this as it does continue to develop, though. But again, more storms do continue to develop. Again, a tornado warning getting dropped for Portage and Wood County in just a few minutes. Again, we still have that tornado warning that's in effect for parts of Adams County, though. Again, not much of a hail danger there, but it looks like, though, again, we do have plenty of lightning starting to move in yet again, though, with this storm. So within the last about 10 minutes or so with the lightning, we're seeing about 155 to about 200 lightning strikes within a brief amount of time. So looking pretty decent, though. And Jeff mentioned earlier the issue for flash flooding concerns, though, and we're seeing more back building with the storms just to the west of parts of Adams County. We'll throw the radar into motion there, and it's tracking to the north and east over the same area. So, Jeff, you've been talking about some of these flooding concerns, and no warnings up yet or advisories up for flooding, but we may need to keep an eye on this, because back building storms training over the same area, not a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of time now before we get some warnings for at least some flooding and localized flooding in some areas, especially urban flooding this evening, as we have rain falling at rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour across the entire area. All right, well, here we are. You know, it's almost 5:30. Let's regroup, talk about what's happening out there right now. We are having a severe weather outbreak across all of north central Wisconsin. The Northwoods is getting by okay right now with pockets of heavy rainfall. North central Wisconsin, though, not as good, as we've had confirmed tornadoes today and also ongoing severe weather across all of north central Wisconsin. Here's a look right now at the power outage map from WPS. Now, this is just WPS, but overall, from the Stevens Point area, north into the Wausau area, you can see who's been hardest hit here, and that's definitely areas around our region that are experiencing power issues. You'll get that if you have tornadoes and you have wind damage and you have wind gusts near 60 to 70 miles per hour. So here's a map you don't see very often. In here now, this is a tornado watch in yellow. The red polygons you see are tornado warnings. Now, none of those at the moment, they were earlier, these are all radar indicated, meaning there's rotation in the atmosphere. It does not mean that rotation, though, is on the ground. So you can take a little bit of respite in that, right, because it's not on the ground at the moment. But these are tornado-warned supercells across our region, something we don't do very often in north central Wisconsin. Here they are, and you can see what's happening, right, all the way down from Lincoln County to Marathon County to Portage County to Wood County, back over to Adams County. This line now beginning to pick up a little bit of speed as it pushes off into eastern parts of Wisconsin, and there it is also going to cause more issues. So for several hours now, we've been talking about supercell storms across north central Wisconsin. What's happening now is they're becoming more linear. They're forming into a line. When they do that, they tend to pick up speed. It's very classic. They do this, right? And they move toward the east in the northern hemisphere much quicker. And this is going to pick up speed now as it moves into eastern parts of Wisconsin, likely causing several rounds of wind damage. Like I'm thinking 2 years ago, the Elko area, where we saw straight line wind gusts near 70 to 80 miles per hour, which took down lots of trees and caused power issues for weeks in that area. This is the type of system coming through now that came through that 2 years ago. So overall, take this seriously. Now, where you see the red polygons, those are tornado warnings. Now, again, they're radar indicated, but it still means you should take cover. So how do you do that? Well, you find the lowest place of your home to go to take cover from the outside world. Put as many walls between you and outside as you possibly can. Call your friends over now, your neighbors who do not have a good storm shelter. If you have one, be a good neighbor, right? Call them over. And also for the kids, extra precaution, right? Put bike helmets on the kids, get them in their hockey gear if you need to, and make sure you take cover from these storms. They're going to get out of here pretty quickly now, as the whole thing is going to the east, about 35 to 45 miles per hour. It'll push into eastern parts of Wisconsin shortly and be out of our viewing area shortly, but right now it is still in our viewing area. Let's check on that storm now across parts of northern Marathon County. So the Wausau area is right there. Texas is right there, the town of Texas. And here we go. This thing, it looks like it's pulsing, right? So it goes up and it goes down, and you can tell that by the lightning data. As the lightning goes up, it's pulsing as it comes down. And also when there's hail in here, as the hail kind of falls out of the storm, the updrafts can't support it anymore. You get that hail to come out of it, and there have been some reports now of hail across our region right now. Okay, so here we go, the towns in here. This is just to the north of the Antigo area. Again, but if you're in Antigo, and here's Elko right here, just upstream. So here's the storm, right? Here's Elko, and again, Elko seems to be kind of like the ground zero sometimes for a few of these storms as they work into portions of eastern Wisconsin. And look what's happening now across our southern viewing area, Portage County into Wood County, Adams County. This thing is, see how it's kind of like spinning and kind of tumbling over itself just a bit? That is really a clear sign that a cool pool of air is forming behind this. It's getting a push of air behind it that's going to pick up its forward speed, also probably transfer that wind energy down to the Earth's surface, which could then lead to more widespread wind damage. So here we are now, the bigger picture here around 5:30 or so. We're talking about a widespread severe weather outbreak across all of north central Wisconsin. There is a tornado watch in effect for until 10 o'clock tonight. However, it'll likely be trimmed back because behind this main line, nothing is going to happen over here, right? The air is stabilized, it's stabilizing, and this will be trimmed back from west to east across our area this evening into early parts of tomorrow, and then we're good to go from there. Further north, we're talking about lots of heavy rain, and also there is now some hail. I can see that hail right there moving toward the Elko area. There's not a lot. It did cross Highway 39, and it possibly did some damage to cars there. We're not sure. I haven't any reports yet, but overall, there's not a lot of hail with these storms at the moment. But there could be as they were reaching 50 to 60,000 feet into the atmosphere. Here's our velocity mode, and again, this is that mode where you can see which way the wind is flowing in the storm. Whenever you get the reds bumping up against the greens, what that means is there could be rotation in the atmosphere. It's happening now over parts of southwestern Wapaka County, northeastern parts there of the Portage County, and it's moving toward the northeast about 45 miles per hour. So we're not done with this. These storms are still ongoing as they are working into portions of eastern parts of Wisconsin. Now earlier I kept this in here because this is classic. We don't see this in Wisconsin very often. This is what's called the correlation coefficient. It's a product of the radar that can see what's not supposed to be there, right? So you look at this image and you say, okay, what's this little thing inside the red area there? That is where the tornado went. So when the National Weather Service goes out there tomorrow to examine the data or examine where the damage is, they know exactly where to go because the radar actually picked up exactly where that tornado was. All right, that is now pushed off into portions of eastern Wisconsin. So again, bigger picture right now, we're talking about a heavy rain event to the north, ongoing severe weather across central Wisconsin, heavy rain across parts of southern Wisconsin. The bigger picture shows all of this kind of pushing in to eastern Wisconsin in the next hour or two. That will turn off the severe weather threat. It will turn off the heavy rain threat and then bring us some much better weather across our region for tomorrow. But for now, we're still talking about ongoing severe weather across portions of our viewing area, including it's been dropped now for Portage County, up into Lincoln County and Marathon County. For the north, same story here. Heavy rain falling in portions of Eagle River. In fact, we can go outside now and check on Stevens Point again if we have that camera. I'm not sure if Paul has that at the moment, or we can check on Griffin Stroing live at Hodag Park in Rhinelander. Here's Stevens Point. Again, that is better, right? This is better, right? A little bit ago, 5 minutes ago, this was clear that it was full of rain, heavy wind. That's now getting much better as the front is now pushed off toward the east of the Stevens Point area. All right, Devin Biggs, over to you, sir.
Yeah, so real quick, though, there is another tornado warning that was issued at about 5:28 p.m., and that does include parts of Marathon County and parts of Lincoln County right now. So let's head right over to Max 2 real quick, and we'll break this down, though. This is a storm we have our eye on, though, still. It just moved out of parts of Marathon County. It was dropped earlier, but as you can see, they've issued it again, lasting until about 6 p.m. So if you live near parts of the Antigo area, definitely near parts of Neva area and areas nearby Peck, as this tracks out towards the north and east, be ready to head to shelter or head there now. That's a pretty decent rotation signature, though, with definitely some wind going toward the radar and wind going from away from the radar, and a lot of wind with this too, though, possibly winds at least up above, maybe not making it to the ground, but if it is making it to the ground, maybe winds up to around 60, maybe getting close to 70 miles per hour in a few spots, though. And we're going to be watching this developing as it does continue to track off towards the north and east very quickly. So continue to pull in some of this data here, though. So let's see where this thing is moving towards the north and east at around, let's see here, at around 20 miles per hour. So it has slowed down a little bit, though. Spotters did report a rotating wall cloud a while back, though. So there has been some kind of suspicious behavior being noted with this storm that continues to track off towards the north and east. So plenty of issues going on there, though. But otherwise, though, we're starting to see this kind of becoming more of a squall line with, again, a severe thunderstorm warning up. That does include parts of the Portage County area, though. And that's going to be lasting for a while, at least till about 5:45 p.m. But again, this big line, there's definitely a decent line of storms moving through, so we can switch this over to the wide view, though. So again, lots of storms, lots of warnings in effect. Starting to switch over to a few severe thunderstorm warnings. Still a few tornado warnings in effect, though. Still a couple, though. The latest one going till about 6 p.m. That includes parts of Langley Lake County, though, in Marathon County, and of course Adams County remaining in effect for just a little while yet. So these are all the alerts that we see still in effect, though. A very active severe weather day across the area, and this is the fuel for the fire, though, with dew points that are well up into the 60s. You can see that we're starting to to tap into some of that moisture. But Jeff, plenty of fuel for the fire with more storms, though. A funnel cloud report in parts of the Adams area, too. So starting to see some reports coming in, but that debris signature we saw on radar by northwestern Adams County, something we don't see very often here.
Yeah, we're starting to get some better news now as we're getting more severe thunderstorm warnings and not tornado warnings. So that says something here. That says that this whole line is starting to bow echo, meaning it's pushing off to the east quicker. And in that, you still get some spin-ups, so tornado spin-ups in there, but not necessarily long-track tornadoes. So here's the big picture right now. And notice what's happening again. Lightning data, the last little image here, you can see it's pulsing up again, right? And see how they're congealing, the little areas that congeal like that? Those are individual supercells within the whole line itself, and that could cause individual problems in those areas as it works into portions of eastern parts of Wisconsin. Let's go over here now. This is the Wausau area. So there's Wausau right there. This storm went right over the Wausau area. It's now warned again for a radar indicated tornado. So here's Antigo. It is just to the north and just to the west of the Antigo area right now, moving directly toward the Nova area and the Elko area. So if you're on Highway 45, if you're, say, in Antigo and want to go north toward Elko, don't do it. Stay home. Don't do that right now, because give it a half hour and be gone, and you can travel then. But until then, you're not going to travel in this, because we're getting some signs now that there could be some large hail on this one. If you're traveling north out of Antigo, running into that hail will not be good for you or your car. So this does have a tornado warning on it. However, it's radar indicated. Earlier we had confirmed tornadoes across our area. Those are not confirmed right now. So everything out there now is radar indicated, meaning the radar, which sits at about, depending upon where you are in our viewing area, about 5,000 feet up or 6,000 feet up, right? It sees a rotation in the atmosphere, right? That rotation could come down to their surface at any given time, and it has done so several times this evening. And right now, though, none of those are reaching the ground. At least there's no ground truth or ground reports to the radar indicated tornadoes out there right now. All right, so further south we're talking about, here's the Stevens Point area. Heavy rain there last hour, but the heaviest rain is now pushed through. We're actually in a bit of clearing out mode out there currently across the Stevens Point area, and then Wisconsin Rapids as well. So overall, this is leaving portions of our viewing area. Included in there is Portage County, Adams County, into Wapaka as well. Still some signs now. It's still lingering into portions of Lincoln County, into Marathon County, but overall, this is beginning to leave our region as we speak about it. But look at all the lightning in here, right? You don't see images like this very often across north central Wisconsin. We have lots of lightning data in the atmosphere, and that's lots of lightning in the atmosphere, lots of electrical energy in the atmosphere, and that is causing issues across our region now. Here's a live look at Minocqua. This is a camera not controlled by us, and we have lots of, you can see the streamers on Lake Minocqua right there, right? The wind gusts out there, non-severe wind gusts near 30 to 40 miles per hour, making waves on Lake Minocqua, which, by the way, the big thing is happening there this weekend with the boat show. But overall, we have non-severe weather basically along and north of Highway 8. Still some severe weather south of Highway 8, but most of that is now pushing off into portions of eastern Wisconsin. This severe weather event is beginning to wind down across our neck of the woods. Now, there is some hail out there in spots as these storms kind of pulse. I want to kind of go in here to the Antigo-Elko area. Here's Portage County, Stevens Point, a couple of areas of hail going on there. You see little gray areas. This will cross Highway 51 there, Highway 10 as well. And then further north, here's Antigo. I want to point this out because that's Antigo, that's Nova, and over here is Elko. This little hail core there, see how it's pulsing up as we're talking about it? That's about to travel over Highway 45. So this is why I say don't travel on Highway 45 right now, because that will likely, this looks like quarter-size hail to me. However, it could easily be more than that here shortly as it travels over Highway 45 this evening. Let's look at the velocity. This is a product that, again, looks at which direction the wind is traveling in the atmosphere. And you can see now that wherever you get the reds bumping up against the greens, you have a change in direction. So this right here, that could be spinning right there. This near Antigo could be spinning right there. And this is why they are warned. Again, this is radar indicated. No ground truths from those. No law enforcement calling us saying it's confirmed. No storm spotters saying it's confirmed. However, there are rotating thunderstorms out there right now. that could reach the ground at any moment. This is that storm earlier from the correlation coefficient, or basically a product that says, hey, what shouldn't be there? And you can see exactly where that tornado was as it worked into portions of northern parts of Adams County. Likely tomorrow they'll use this radar image to track what damage that storm did. Here's the bigger picture right now, moving into portions of north central Wisconsin. This will easily now begin to chip off the back edge of this as we kind of wind down the event for Price County, Iron and Ashland counties, over to Clark County. And it's going to end here to Taylor County as well. It's ending as we speak about it. Notice how the forward speed is going to pick up now as it pushes into parts of eastern Wisconsin. But these things are maintaining their intensity. What they do now, though, is they cycle a bit. So the tornado threat comes down and it turns into a straight line wind event. What we had a couple years ago in the Elko area, also Eagle River, where it took all those trees down a couple years ago. That's what's happening now across portions of eastern parts of Wisconsin. All right, so here's further south, looking at parts of Adams County. The heaviest rain now is through the Stevens Point area. It's over the Plover area and the Amherst area now, with lots of lightning pushing off into Wapaka County. Then we'll say goodbye to that. Further south, same story. There's Adams County still in our viewing area, about to be done with it there. And then traveling north, same story. We have lots of wind energy in the atmosphere and also lots of heavy rain falling across the Northwoods. Devin?
Yeah, so you were mentioning the wind energy there, Jeff, and we're going to revisit the power outage problem here. If you have that map back there, let me know when you guys have that full, as we do have more power outages, a lot in Stevens Point right now. Thankfully, our camera there is still working. But otherwise, we do have plenty of power outages being reported. Around 5,100 people in Stevens Point without power right now, and a little under 1,100 people in Wausau without power. That's actually an improvement, so that's good. That's some good news to see. And many areas still seeing power outages. So it looks like we may actually have a few that's actually near parts of the Rhinelander area too, just to the northeast. So it looks like even 3 lakes, even without severe weather, we're still seeing some power outages being reported there as well. So while we continue to regroup things here, we're continuing to see active storm warnings and active severe weather. But even though some of these storms packing a punch in a few spots where there's definitely no warnings, Minocqua seeing some heavy downpours right now. So let's kind of take a look at some of these below severe limit storms to see if they're doing anything. It looks like they are not doing anything that's any suspicious behavior at this point, though. Maybe some winds farther up aloft, maybe some interesting behavior with the storm. That's just to the northwest of Rhinelander, though. So we're kind of watching that. That does continue to develop. Nothing completely outrageous at this point there. But again, our big focus continues to be across parts of Langley County. Now, they just trimmed Marathon County out of this warning. Now, that's moving to parts of the Anago area. That's the storm that Jeff was just keeping an eye on earlier for hail concerns, though. So possibly up to quarter-size hail moving right near parts of Highway 45. So definitely not a good idea to be traveling there right now. Let these storms pass before doing any of your evening plans tonight. And of course, lightning too. We always say to be careful with lightning, because lightning can kill and it definitely can damage appliances too if they're plugged in. And really about 230 lightning strikes within the last several minutes. So that have definitely been causing some issues there. So Jeff, plenty of issues though with some of these storms that continue to track through though, and definitely some heavier downpours as well.
Yeah, getting lots of reports now of heavy rain across the entire region, and that's causing some flooding concerns now. That'll likely come down quickly though, as it's picking up speed moving to the east about 45 miles per hour. In fact, let's go outside now to Griffin Stroyne if we can, who's at Hodag Park in Rhinelander. It's raining heavily in parts of Rhinelander. Let's see what Griffin has to show us out there at the park to see how it looks there. Griffin?
Yeah, Jeff, I'll be honest. About 5 minutes before we just started talking, things were looking pretty nice here. Wasn't really raining all that hard. The wind wasn't that picking up or anything like that. Didn't hear much thunder, didn't hear much lightning. But all of a sudden, things have gotten very intense here. The wind is really coming to me from the lake. It's gotten extremely dark. A lot of bad clouds, in the sky that I'm looking at. It has just been really maybe not the best looking for me right now. I will say, though, that the wind in general and the rain hasn't been falling as frequently as it was when I first got here at Hodag Park. But overall, it has gotten much darker, much more windy while I've been here. The rain, I do see, if I could turn around the camera maybe the next time, across the lake, it does seem like it's coming my direction. It's going to really start raining hard here pretty soon. So once again, no reason to be outside. Take shelter. Make sure that you are, being as safe as possible. Better safe than sorry. The flooding here has been increasing as well. So once again, those roads aren't really safe and able to be driven on. Man, this wind really is kicking up here. So once again, make sure you stay safe, stay inside. Reporting here live at Hodag Park, I'm Griffin Stroy.
All right, Griffin, stay safe. Thank you very much. All right, what Griffin describes there is classic with these systems. Here he is right there, right? And what he's getting into is the back side of this system. There's a cool pool of air that forms a loft right in here. What that does then, that cold pool of air, cool air is heavy, heavier than dense or heavier than really kind of buoyant warm air. It sinks. When it sinks, it pushes the line of storms out ahead of it. And Griffin's now getting into that wind is now making it down to the Earth's surface. And that's exactly what I fear to happen is you can get 50, 60, 70 mile per hour wind gusts out of that as it works through portions of our viewing area still from southern parts of Oneida County back over to Langley County, eastern parts of the Marathon County area, and Wapaka County as well. So we are not quite out of the woods yet for our eastern viewing area. Central areas, including eastern or western parts of Marathon County, Wood County, western parts of Oneida County, even parts of Vilas County are looking better now. The severe weather threat is ending there, but not so much across. Look at the Anago area here. This is a severe storm. So here's Elko, here's Anago. This does have a tornado warning on it. However, that warning is radar indicated. I want to make sure I differentiate that easily for you because radar indicated means the radar sees rotation above the Earth's surface, right? There is no ground reports to that at the moment, so it's not hitting the ground. We don't think it is, although it could be at any moment, which is why we say, you know, take this seriously as the storm is pulsing. It has some hail with it. So if you're in this area, if you're in the Elko area, if you're in the Crandon area, I know lots of people who live in Crandon, this is your time to take precautions now as this thing will travel just to your south or just over you in the next 30 minutes or so. So find the lowest level of your home, seek shelter now if you can, be away from windows, put as many walls between you and the outside world as you can. If you have kids, put the bike helmets on the kids, get them in their hockey gear. Basically take this seriously. We don't do this very often in north central Wisconsin. Further south though, here we go into parts of the Wapaka area. Iola is getting heavy rain right now. There's Wapaka right there. The airport, they're reporting a gust last 15 minutes. But overall, we have this moving out of our viewing area. Adams County now pretty much in the clear from severe weather. Same thing for Wood County, same thing for western parts of Portage County, and then further north, same thing for eastern or western parts of Marathon County, Lincoln County as well. So here's the big picture once again. Lots of lightning. These things are incredibly electrically charged in our area right now. So it's not safe to go outside. They're pulsing, meaning they have hail within them. That hail could be severe, meaning golf ball size, if not higher, across parts of the area. And let's look for hail now. I don't see any being picked up on radar. There's that one little one about to cross Highway 45 near the Elko area. This is most likely about probably quarter-size hail further south of there as well. And here's that one further north. That one right there. That's one going to cross Highway 45. So if you're in the Anago area and you want to travel north to Elko, just wait it out. Wait 15, 20 minutes. Let this thing cross by, and then you'll be in a good shape then without any hail damage to your car. So here's velocity mode once again. And velocity mode is that function of the radar. This is great technology, right? That we can see where the air is spinning in the atmosphere. Now the problem with this is a loft. This is a radar product, right? So the radar comes out of Green Bay. It's up in the atmosphere, generally 5, 6, 7,000 feet above our heads. It's showing rotation up there. Well, the problem with that is there's no friction up there, right? Here there's a surface. We have friction, which we can't see the rotations at the surface. So here we are near the Anago area, a little spin up there. See where the red kind of meets the green? That's easily a spinning thunderstorm or a supercell that could produce a tornado at any time, which is why that one is warned. And then further south, same story. But the bigger thing to see there, see how the greens are getting brighter and see how they're picking up speed? This is exactly what I feared, is that that's that push of cold air behind this system that's going to do a couple things. It's going to push it out of our viewing area. That's good, right? But it's going to push it toward the Green Bay area, and there's just a lot of forests in here, and they're not going to like this, right? So lots of tree damage is likely by tomorrow morning with this, as we have straight line wind gusts that could approach 50, 60, or 70 miles per hour. Earlier, of course, we had that tornado across parts of the Wood County area and also into parts of Adams County. That, of course, is now gone. The bigger picture shows we still have a lot of heavy rain to get through. Here we are, Rhinelander, I hear rain on the roof right now. Further north, same story, heavy rain parts of Vilas County, although non-severe storm there. And, of course, parts of of central Wisconsin is being inundated with lots of lightning. So here's a sky cam image here of Rhinelander, looking pretty like heavy rainfall is falling, right? But notice how the clouds are more stratiform, right? This is this heavy rain. The clouds are about, 5,000–6,000 feet out there, and they're really kind of producing a ton of rainfall. The dew point's up there in the 70s today. That's lots of moisture in the atmosphere to kind of wring out, and thunderstorms are really good at kind of wringing out the atmosphere, and you get those 1, 2, 3 inch per hour rainfall rates. We're seeing that out there right now. This could easily lead to some urban flooding, right? So that means when you get a 1 or 2 or 3 inch per hour rainfall rate, there is not a city sewer in our viewing area that can handle that much rain that quickly, and thus you get backups in there, which cause lots of issues. So here we are, the big picture once again. The strongest storm now by far is near the Anago and the Elko area, pushing out further to the east, about 45 miles per hour. Behind this system, the severe weather threat comes to an end very quickly. It is now over for the Rhinelander area. It's basically over for the Minocqua area, over for Price County, over for Wood County and Taylor County as well. But the rest of us, not so much, as we still have lots of lightning data coming in right now, where these storms are very charged in the atmosphere. Devin, back over to you.
Yeah, so some good news that's starting to come in, though, with this line that continues to move through. We do have the tornado watch that is starting to get trimmed back just a little bit, though. So you see this line of storms that continues to accelerate off towards the east. We're starting to see the amount of warnings that we have in effect come down. So let's give you a little bit of a closer look. And again, just for the sake of making your eyes a little bit more friendly, I'm going to pull the radar data off this temporarily. And really, we only have what appears to be just one active warning left in our viewing area, though. And that is in Langley County near the Anago area, with that tornado warning that remains in effect until 6 p.m. So that is good news. Things are starting to come down just a little bit, though. Everything's starting to track off towards the east. What's not good news is areas toward our east that will be seeing some of these stronger winds. And of course, Jeff was talking about with the radar earlier. And of course, some of these winds are continuing to speed up, though. So again, you see some of these higher returns, even some of the blues, though, indicating some higher returns of what they could be putting up with. So if you know anyone over towards the east, like for example, not too far away from Green Bay, some areas could see up to 70-mile-an-hour winds. And that's not too far away from the radar, though. So if you know anyone towards the east of our viewing area, may want to let them know to make sure to head to shelter with some of these stronger winds. But we were also going to talk about some of that good news to report, though. And that is definitely where the tornado watch is. We started to see it getting trimmed back just a little bit. Parts of Taylor and Clark counties were trimmed out of this watch earlier. And of course, with this line tracking off towards the east, we'll continue to see things improving. So a little bit more of that wider look, though. Again, this is all continuing to track off towards the east, and they're pretty much starting to turn into a squall line, which is what we expected with some more of the excitement. Again, mainly just moving outside of our viewing area at this point, but there's still plenty of fuel for these storms to tap into, which is why we're hearing all the heavy downpours. But the rain-cooled air is starting to make themselves known as temperatures fall into the 60s right now. But the fuel is still there for these thunderstorms to tap into, though, with 60-degree dew points. You can't even find where the front is anymore, though, with just how high these dew points still remain in the 60s. But another quick look at the radar, though. Again, some of these storms that are not severe, though, like Rhinelander is packing a little bit of a punch. Eagle River probably seeing a little bit of a punch right now, too. Vilas County, some heavy downpours. These storms there are not severe, but a little bit more of a wider look. These are all kind of tracking northeast at this point, though. But again, the big storm that we have our eye on right now, Jeff, is definitely that storm that's definitely across parts of the Langley County area. Before I toss back to you, we'll take a quick count of the lightning, and this is within the past 10 minutes. So according to radar, around 252 lightning strikes, and that's roughly maybe about cloud-to-ground lightning, too. So, of course, we got to emphasize lightning safety, too, something we may not think about during severe weather coverage, right? Yeah, that's true. And it's 8 minutes to the hour. Let's take a regroup here and look at where we're watching the most concern this evening is going to be, of course, portions of eastern Wisconsin now and southeastern parts of Wisconsin. The whole line is pushing toward the east at about 45 miles per hour. That line out there now is producing still some tornado warnings. Now, these are all of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. They are all radar indicated. Earlier, they were not, right? Earlier, they were confirmed tornadoes across parts of our area. These are all radar indicated. What that means is the radar sees rotation in the atmosphere, thus the Weather Service warns it. It gets that message out to people like you and me who say, okay, we can use that information to take cover, and that's what you should still do near the Anago area, the Elko area right now, as we have a tornado-warned storm in the area that is possibly creating some damage. We have no confirmed reports of that right now. However, wind gusts in here are likely increasing as this entire line begins
begins to bow out. See how it kind of bows right there like a bow and arrow? That's a classic sign that cold air is coming in behind the system, pushing that front further to the east, picking up forward motion. You transfer that motion down to the Earth's surface. You get wind gusts near 60, 70, 80 miles per hour. Same problem we had a couple years ago in the Elko and Antigo area. All those trees fell down. We had power problems for weeks. That is happening out there right now. Now, there's no reports currently of winds that strong. However, it could happen. So keep that in mind. In those warned areas, also, these are tornado warnings, right? So take them seriously. And what that means, if you're in the Antigo, you're in the Crandon, you're in the Elko area, you want to take cover, find the closest area where you can take cover. Also in your home, away from windows, in your basement is even better. And then also check on your neighbors. So they don't have a storm shelter. They're going to want to need some help too. If you do have one, invite them over. So here it is now. This thing is beginning to push out of our area. However, Crandon is right there. Wabeno is right there. Armstrong Creek is right here, all of which are in the path of this storm, right? It's picking up forward speed, and there is just an incredible amount of forest in this area. And likely by tomorrow morning, we're going to hear about some reports of trees down, power lines down, and that's going to cause some damage. Now, as this pushes off into the Elko's right there, of course, Antigo further south, this thing has a warning on it. However, it's not confirmed. It's radar indicated as it pushes deeper and deeper toward the Crandon area. Let's go outside now, and here we are in Wausau. Look what's happening behind here, right? There is a really good chance now that many of you could see some sunshine before it sets later on this evening, around 8:40 or so, as the back edge of the clouds is kind of just across parts of western Wisconsin. That's where that cool pool of air is. It's sinking, it's heavy, it clears the sky out, and when you get that, you have a nice evening. So if like winds will go calm for a while, it'll be a pleasant evening, but for the rest of us on the eastern side of this, not so much. This is by far the worst storm right now across the Elko area into the Langley County area. Wabeno is right there. So yeah, if you're in this area, take cover. This means business. Find the lowest part of your home. Also find an area that where you can kind of take shelter. If you have kids, make sure you put your bike helmets on and get them in their hockey gear if you can. Take cover from this storm. Further south, this is an area that's also increasing in forward momentum. However, it's pushing out of our viewing area. So here's Wapaka County at the southeastern fringe of our viewing area, pushing into the Green Bay area over here. So these are maintaining their intensity and their forward motion. And again, there's an incredible amount of forest area in here, likely causing lots of problems there by tomorrow morning. And then further south, the north, the bigger picture, look at all the lightning in here. An incredible amount of lightning that's causing a lot of issues across our region now, as these storms are not getting weaker, they're getting stronger with more electrically charged storms out there, and probably some hail in there as well. In fact, here is the hail tracker. We're talking little areas of hail, kind of one to the south and east of the Rhinelander area. One came through Portage County earlier. Not a lot of hail right now. The atmosphere is very, very warm, and not just at the Earth's surface, right? Above our heads as well, up several thousand feet. It's hard to get really big hail out of that. However, there are some areas today that have seen hail upwards of quarter size. And here's that little one crossing Highway 45. You see it pulsing right there? So the Antigo area is there. Elko's right here. You just crossed Highway 45, likely with maybe pea-size or dime-size hail with that, as it is pulsing across that area right now. All right, the velocity mode again. We're talking about a system that's picking up forward speed out of our viewing area. So good news for us, bad news for eastern Wisconsin. The Green Bay market will kind of take over this, and it's picking up momentum as well, as we're going to most likely have wind gusts in here near 50 to 60 miles per hour. That's going to cause damage across the pine forest in these areas into tomorrow as well. All right, correlation coefficient earlier, again, I want to show you again because you don't see this in Wisconsin very often. That is the radar indicated tornado that moved into portions of northern Adams County earlier, and that is now, of course, gone. So here's our bigger picture once again. Let's regroup here and talk about what's going on. So like Devin said, the tornado watch that is in effect for much of the area is starting to be chipped away at from east to west across our area right now, and that is definitely going to be good news for us. However, the ongoing threat for some severe weather is still there, and also the training effect with storms. So notice if I put my finger right here, right, it's the same storms going over the same area again and again and again, and you get areas that get 1, 2, 3 inch per hour rainfall rates. There's not a city sewer in our viewing area that can handle rainfall rates that strongly, so you'll get some localized flooding out of that, and likely some ponding on the roadways as well. Like I said earlier, if you can stay inside for another hour or two, that's great. You can do that. But notice behind here, that view we saw from Wausau, right, looking to the west. skies are clearing over here, right? There is a really good chance now that many of us could see some sunshine before the sun sets at 8:45 or so across western Wisconsin here in just an hour or two. But for now, the bigger picture shows the line, the bow echo, the squall line. Well, what we knew and feared was coming for a couple of days is materialized across our area today. And what that is doing now is causing severe weather across our area from Vilas County back to the south to Adams County, moving toward the east at about 45 miles per hour. That is going to continue moving out of our viewing area for about the next 20 minutes or so into portions of eastern parts of Wisconsin. And as that does that, we will return to normal programming. In fact, our 6 o'clock show starts right now.